Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is the start of another new season, a start of another new division here in MOR Esports. My name is Jack. I am your commentator, and you join me quite weirdly in Abu Dhabi for the season opener of the Thursday 6 p.m. realistic division. So as you might see, we've got some very quick drivers, and you might turn around and say, oh, Mr. Smith, CB, Lawless Fever, HTL Llama, probably going to win the race, but no, because of the realistic performance that is in this division, we've got the slower guys in the faster cars and the faster guys in the slower cars to try and even it out a bit. So you will see the likes of JF1, TTV Kian, Alcada, O'Fade, Greco Theo in the top teams because they're a little bit slower. And then you will see the guys like Llama, CB, Lawless Fever, Mr. Smith in the slower cars. Sorry, because they are faster. So, should be pretty interesting. I am really looking forward to this. The realistic performance divisions has always been some of the closest that MOR has had. And we will see how the drivers get on. Fade is the first driver out on track. And it is the Red Bull man that will be taking to this circuit first. Again, it is a little bit weird to see a season opener in Abu Dhabi. It doesn't feel quite right, does it? But that is what we're here for today. And hopefully it will be a good qualifying session. We've got 16 minutes to go in this session. Zofade crosses the line to start the first flying lap of this season and of this division. It's the first time we have ever had two realistic performance divisions. We've got the 8 p.m. tonight, which I have got the privilege of racing in. So that will be very interesting. But obviously right now you've got me on commentary, and I think I'm a little bit more excited to commentate, it must be said, as Fade just comes through and towards the long old straight. Really difficult to try and pick the braking down into this corner, get the car turned in. Meets the apex beautifully, meets both apexes beautifully, does the Red Bull. That looked very clean for Fade. Obviously there are different things. It's not just, oh, the car is quicker, the car is slower. If you compare, let's say, the McLaren and the Aston Martin is a lot heavier. It's a lot slower in a straight line. It uses its battery differently. It uses the fuel differently. So it's quite difficult to get to grips. It's not just, oh, this car's fast, this car isn't fast. There's a lot of reasons as to why the cars are and aren't fast as well. O'Fade then makes his way out of the final part of the lap. And O'Fade, the first lap in this division. So 1 minute 26.8 error on a lap as well. We've got, I believe, one of the Haas cars coming to the line. That is Leon. And Leon drives for the line. Then Leon with a 27.5. We have then got Fabian Best, who is on an outlap. So it's one of the Cadillacs coming to the line. That is Lawless Fever. Cadillac, one of the slowest teams. Lawless, one of the quickest drivers. A 1 minute 24.4 for him. We've then got Error into second with a 1 minute 26.3. And the times will tumble as drivers begin to cross the line. We've got JF1 coming around the final corner. Mr. Smith goes into second place. JF1 has put it in the wall. Out of the final corner. Big damage for the Red Bull. He was very lucky. That wasn't a retirement. The Red Bull driver struggling early. Spadang goes into second with a 1 minute 24.9. Who's then immediately replaced as Greco Theo in the Mercedes goes to the top. We know Mercedes are the quickest car along with the McLarens. And Greco Theo doing a very good job at the moment. CB goes into sixth, a 1 minute 25.2 for the Cadillac. TTV Kian has invalidated his lap. Alcada in the McLaren makes his way through the chicane. What does Alcada have in this session? We know this man has been pushing to try and improve his racing in as many social races as he possibly can to improve his ability behind the wheel of a Formula 1 car. Alcada into the final sector then. Gets very close to that Aston Martin. Leaves the session and is teleported back into the pit lane. Jack MS now goes to the top with a 1 minute 23.6. And the Ferrari man looking very good. This is a man that I definitely want to watch. Lewis James, as is HTL Llama, who is in an Aston Martin, of course. But Llama, easily one of the quicker drivers in MOR. The Aston Martin into the chicane. You can see the car just not responding to what the Aston wants. Let's get Alcada back in. I think Meloon also needs an invite as well. He's trying to collect data for the website. HTL Llama in 17th place at the moment. Has not set a lap time. As HTL Llama comes through the final sector then. And the Aston Martin trying to get himself a little bit higher up in this session. The Aston around the final couple of corners. His teammate's currently P6 with a 25-1. Llama to the line. It's a 24-1. There's a second between the Aston Martin teammates. And HTL Llama goes into P2. But in the early running, it looks like Jack MS is very quick in that Ferrari. TTV Kian crosses the line, goes P15 with a 1 minute 30. I don't think that was a push lap for him, though. As Meloon is having some issues with disconnecting. We follow TTV Kian then. We've also got Jack MS on a lap. So we will watch Jack MS. The Ferrari man currently on provisional pole. And is looking to try and improve yet again. As he now makes his way into the middle sector. Will be the final sector very, very soon. And the Ferrari is absolutely flying 3.5 tenths up. Jack MS looking unstoppable in the Ferrari right now. Obviously, I do want to make it clear that the lineups can change if drivers are a little bit too quick for their machinery. And with pace like this, I do wonder if Jack MS could be one of those people that has moved to a slower car, because he is absolutely flying at the moment. Jack MS crosses the line. It's a 1 minute 23.2 for the Ferrari man. And it is provisional pole position by a much bigger distance. HTL Llama, I believe, is on a lap from what I can see, is using the battery. CB asking for a faster car. CB currently in 9th with a 1 minute 25.2. Lawless Fever has retired from the session, a 24-4 for the Cadillac man. Is HTL Llama then through the final couple of corners. The final sector, easily the trickiest. And HTL Llama backs out of the lap then. Greco Theo currently in 3rd. We've got Cam Roddy in 4th place. Is Cam Roddy on a lap? It would look like it. So Cam Roddy, can he improve? Currently in P4 for V-Carb. I personally would have put Cam Roddy in a slower car. I think Cam Roddy is very underrated in MOR. Cam Ruddy towards the middle sector timing beam. It's about a 10.5 up on his previous best. This would be a lap that takes him into P3. We're going to try and get Meloon back in the session one final time. And hopefully it works for him. Cam Ruddy then, round the final couple of corners. Cam Ruddy crosses the line. It is P3 for Cam Ruddy. He gets within a 10th of Llama as well. But Jack MS absolutely flying out in front so far. Spadang currently in 7th. We've got CB on a lap as well. Jarman back in the chat. Welcome in, Jarman. Great to see you in the chat, mate. Always good to have you around. CB into the final corner. What can the Cadillac driver try and do? He's looking for improvement. He crosses the line. It is a 10th of improvement. He goes ahead of Fabian Best. CB now in 8th place. Jack Plays coming through the final few corners. He's not on a lap. Alcada, I believe, has just set his lap. He's in P15 at the moment. As JF1 once again out of the final corner, having a moment. What is going on with JF1? He's in a Red Bull, which should be an incredibly quick, stable car. JF1, that is twice now we have seen him spin out of the final corner and ruin his lap. Currently down in P17, Red Bull will have their head in their hands. Jarman coming out on an out lap. He's the only man that has not set a lap thus far in this session. Jay says he was on for a 1:24 then. That would have put him at least into P8. We'll have to see what Jay can do in the rest of this session. We will have to see if he can get a 1:24. Mr. Smith now in P3 for Aston Martin. Was saying in the Discord he doesn't believe he can get a podium with this boat. He's taking the old chicane line as well. Spinning the car through the hairpin. Jack Plays is just coming through the final sector, and that was very close to Latifi Wall. Jack Plays is going to come into the pit lane. That may have lost him some time, that understeer. Meloon, I don't believe, got my invite, so we'll send him another one now. Hopefully he gets that. Fade is on a lap as well. As Meloon does get back in the lobby then. Let's watch Jarman on his lap. Has not set a lap so far in this session. His Ferrari teammate currently on provisional pole position. So what can Jarman produce in the Scuderia machinery? Isn't using much battery down the straight. CB saying Jarman should get pole if it was him racing earlier in socials. He's been gifted a fast car. That is the opinion of CB. Jarman, is it going to be looking like provisional pole position pace? There's 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. This will be his only lap in this session. He gets the power down. A little bit of a shake at the rear end from the Ferrari. Jarman continuing on though into the final sector. Very tight technical sector. Keeps it well within the track limits. Using as much battery as possible is the Ferrari. into the final corner. Can he match his teammate? Jarmin goes to 9th. The 1 minute 25.125. He is 1,000th of a second off of CB. That is very, very close. As we've got Llama and Jack on laps as well then. What can Llama do? Can he try and snatch pole away? He needs massive improvement to try and do it. He does improve. It's not enough. What about Jack MS then? Crosses the line. It's a 23 flat for Jack MS. And it is provisional pole position. Extended again. HTL Llama 8 tenths back. And I definitely feel like Jack MS might be moving cars at the end of this season. What, at the end of the season? At the end of this race. I would not be surprised if for the rest of the season is what I meant to say. He is in a different car because he is absolutely flying in that Ferrari. Greco Theo has gone into P4. 1 minute 24.224. We've got Spadang on an out lap. We've got Jarmin on an out or an in lap. We've got Error on an out lap. We've got Fade, who is on a flyer. We've got Alcada on a flyer as well. We've got Leon on a flyer. JF1 out there pushing as well. JF1 saying he thinks he can get a 1 minute 24. That would put him in at least P8 currently. The question is he actually able to set a lap time like that? Error is on an out lap. The next man to set a lap time will be, I believe, Alcada, who is coming through the tight technical sector now. The McLaren not really gripping up at the front end. And the McLaren comes through the final corner then. Currently P16 with a 26.5. Goes P11 with a 25.4. Big improvement for the McLaren man. What about Fade? Fade has backed out and is off the road. Jack plays on a lap. We've got Leon just coming towards the final couple of corners. Currently on a 26.5. Down in 17th place. Where can the Haas car go? It stays in P17. JF1 then believes he can get into the top 8. JF1 through the final corner. Behind his teammate and again has the moment out of the final corner. JF1 nowhere near the 1 minute 24s. What is going on with JF1 out of that final corner? Qualifying is now over then. Jack's not on a lap. Llama, I believe, is. Needs 8 tenths of improvement to beat Jack MS to pole position. The question is, does the Aston Martin have that sort of pace in it? Because it is a complete and utter boat to drive. HTL Llama through the final corner then. What does the Aston Martin car have? He drives for the line. It is not improvement. Greco Theo not on a lap either. Fabian is not on a lap either. Spadang coming through the final sector, as is CB. Alcada not on a lap. TTV Kian is. Jay is not. Neither is Leon. So it's just going to be down to Spadang and CB. CB will get the first lap possible. And the Cadillac looking to try and match his teammate Lawless Fever, who's currently in P6. Needs about 6 tenths of improvement to get to that. Comes around the final corner. Goes, stays in P10. Spadang rises up to P5 and is 0.02 of a second off of his teammate. We've got Fabian, who's invalidated. Kian, with a last gasp effort, goes into 8th. That is qualifying over, ladies and gentlemen. It is Jack MS with a dominant pole position here in Abu Dhabi. Llama in 2nd place. That turned out to be a very close qualifying. Besides the fight for pole, 8 tenths clear is Jack MS. The 2 Aston Martins in 2nd and 3rd. It's the 2 V-Carbs in 4th and 5th. What a race we have got coming up for you, ladies and gentlemen. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix is up next. Welcome back to the formation lap then, ladies and gentlemen. It is Jack MS that leads us away from pole position strategy-wise. It's Fabian and Jarman on the hard compound tyres, Fade on the softs. Everyone else electing for the medium tyres. This should be a very interesting Grand Prix. I'm looking forward to seeing what these drivers can do. Can anyone try and stop Jack MS unless he has a moment himself? I think it's going to be very difficult for someone to try and beat him. We've got Llama in second, who will be the closest man trying to bring the fight to the Mercedes. To the Ferrari, sorry. Alcada saying if I was in the Mercedes, I'd get top 5. We make our way through the formation lap then. Leon starting 18th and Plum last. Jack plays in 17th with Fade in 16th, Errors 15th. JF1 in 14th. The Red Bulls really struggling in this session, it must be said. You would think the Red Bulls would be decently quick. But Jay and Fade. Llama asking what should I do. If I wasn't the commentator, I would say give him rear wing damage. Because I think that's the only way that you're going to beat him, Llama. I'll be completely honest. Jack MS looking absolutely rapid. I don't think there is any way to beat him. As we all line up on the grid then and wait for the 5 red lights. The engines roar to life then. 5 red lights ahead of the drivers, ahead of the season opener, and we can go racing here in Abu Dhabi. And HTL Llama with a brilliant getaway gets the lead. Jack MS falling back immediately. HTL Llama is your leader then. Mr. Smith in second place. Cam Ruddy is third. Jack MS down to 4th off the start. We have got some competition on our hands then, because Jack will not be your leader. As through turn 5 we go. Jack MS trying to get by the V-Carb and maybe the Aston Martin too. Here we go into the chicane. Might be 3 abreast as Jack does make it 3 abreast. Dives down the inside and is already back up into second place. Jack MS absolutely flying along the straights and now is chasing down Llama. And you can see the straight line speed of the Ferrari car. And he will be hounding down pressure on Llama, but there's nowhere really to overtake in the final sector. So it doesn't look like Jack MS will be grand slamming this season opener. We've all got through lap 1 safely for now. Nobody with any spins or any big moments or crashes or anything like that. As we end lap 1 then, it's HTL Llama that leads the way. I did not think I'd be saying that. Jack MS just did not go anywhere off the line, was immediately down to 4th place. A terrible start. I wonder if anti-stall maybe kicked in or something, because the car just did not move off of its grid slot. But Jack looking very, very quick. I thought for a second he was going to dive down the inside of the Aston Martin there. Decides to stick behind because he knows how quick he is in a straight line. Has got plenty of battery to use as well in the pursuit of the Aston Martin. Is gaining on the rear wing. Is he going to switch to the inside? Decides to stay behind for the time being at least. But that Ferrari looking very, very racy. And I must say HTL Llama is probably shaking in his boots, worried that this Ferrari is going to breeze past at any time. We're all getting through cleanly then in this Grand Prix. We've got a big battle going on here between the back markers. This is Leon, Jarmin, Jay and Fade. Error has had some sort of moment somewhere. and is running in 18th with a lot of damage and error. Was that maybe a disconnection as Jack Plays is out of the race, and that is a very odd place for a car to crash on the outside into that barrier. And the virtual safety car is deployed then. HTL Llama is your leader. It's Jack MS in second place. We're on lap 3 of 29 of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Is that the full safety car that's now been deployed? I think the full safety car has just been deployed. Yes, it has. So we've gone from a VSC to a full safety car now then. The safety car is out on track. Error retires in the pit lane and is out of the session. The safety car will now wait for whoever leads. We know that really everyone in the top, I think it's the top 10 at least, is on the medium compound tyres. It does look like everyone. Yes, everyone on the mediums. Now the question is, will they come into the pit lane taking those tyres? What, it'll be 26 laps. That is a very long time to take a set of hards. But you could get a pit stop out of the way and hope for another safety car in the middle portion of this Grand Prix. HTL Llama is your leader. He will have to make the decision first. And that is the shame about being in the lead of a Grand Prix, is that you have to make the decisions. Is Llama going to box? He's going to dummy. And it might have caught Jack MS off because Jack is in the pits. Cam's in the pits. Both Aston Martins stay out. So it's an Aston Martin 1-2. Greco stays out. Lawless, Kian, CB stay out. Looks like Leon, yes, Leon has stayed out as well. So Jack, Cam, Lewis, Jarman, Jay into the pit lane. We may also see Fade and Alcada. Fade elects to stay out. Alcada going very, very slowly. Alcada also staying out then. So we'll have a quick look at the tyre section. And it is new tyres from 9th upwards. From 9th downwards, sorry. Old tyres from 8th upwards. But 3 laps difference in a medium set of tyres. It won't make too much difference right now. But towards the end of the stint, that's when Jack MS, Cam Ruddy, Fabian Best will be a lot quicker. Alcada saying, JP, I didn't stay out, I pitted. I was in a collision with Jack Plays. We both had no idea what happened. So that would explain why Jack Plays is out of the Grand Prix. An incident between Alcada and Jack Plays. Jack Plays out of the race. We're moving on then to lap 5. This should be the last lap under the safety car. As HTL Llama will be your leader. It's an Aston Martin 1-2 in this race. Jay says he was going to start on softs expecting a safety car, but went for mediums. Jay, it's not your race today, is it? I've got to be honest. It's really not your race. You say your PB would have put you in P8, P7. you ended up qualifying P14. Say you were going to start on the soft compound tyres expecting a safety car. You start on the mediums and a safety car comes out within the first 3 laps. Definitely not your race today. Jay saying, I believe I genuinely have pace though. Well, you got to use it, mate. That's the only way you're going to get yourself up the order. I do wish you the best of luck. There are some very quick drivers in here, especially the likes of HTL Llama, Mr. Smith, Spadang Spoof, Greco Theo. And then, of course, I would be very wrong to not mention Jack MS in the Ferrari. Safety car is in this lap then, ladies and gentlemen. Llama will lead the way here in Abu Dhabi. This is the opening round of the Thursday's 6 PM realistic division. It's HTL Llama that is your leader. The question is, when will he go? The Aston Martin does not want to drag everyone down to turn 1. He's gone in towards the final corner. And we can go racing once more. We're back to full course green flags. And Spadang has got a very good safety car restart on the rear end of Mr. Smith. Greco Theo in 4th. Lawless Fever in 5th place. Jack MS already up to 8th as that's the car off and into the wall. And that is Lewis James. Reminiscent of Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri in, I believe, 2023 or 2024. Lewis James now down to 16th place and with some front wing damage as well. Lily in the chat. Welcome in, Lily. Good to see you. Jack MS now flying down the inside, sorry, on Mr. Smith, who must have had a moment somewhere while we were watching Lewis James, because Mr. Smith was running in 2nd place, is now down to 7th. And look at Jack MS. Look at TTV Kian as well, up in 4th place. And this is on pure pace. The cars around him as that is Greco Theo off as well and into the barriers. And Greco Theo now down to 13th. Alcada and JF1 fighting away, as that was Fade that has really gone off the road. JF1 flying out of the track limits as well. And now down to 14th place as very wide there goes Greco Theo to come into the pit lane. Kian now running in a podium place then, but he has got Jack MS in a Ferrari right behind him, and Jack easily gonna breeze through into 3rd place in this race. Lawless Fever gonna go through as well and into 4th. As Mr. Smith dives down the inside. Cam Ruddy on the outside. That got very, very close if it wasn't contact. TTV Kian quicker in a straight line because of the McLaren. Mr. Smith and Cam Ruddy trying to fight away. You've got Fabian Best in the background as Jack MS down the inside on Spadang. Had a little bit of a moment on the rear end. I think there was contact between them, as Jack continues chasing down Spadang then. Towards turn 9 we go. Jack MS not able to get his way through. But the Ferrari is flying and is looking towards the inside line, and there is nothing that Spadang can do about that. But the gap out in front for Llama, 3.3 seconds. And how huge is that when Jack MS is in an immensely quicker car? That gap could mean absolutely everything to HTL Llama in this Grand Prix. We move on to lap 8 of 29. Spadang already a second behind Jack MS. Lawless Fever right behind him. Cam Ruddy gets through on Mr. Smith. This is a massive train we have got here, ending with Jarmin in P10. Kian is your train conductor for this evening, as Mr. Smith once again tries to attack Cam Ruddy. Cam in 6th place, Mr. Smith in 7th. Let's go on board with the Aston Martin, who has ran out of battery, as has Cam. Mr. Smith looking towards the outside line. Cam Ruddy deep enough on the brakes to be able to keep the position. As Jack MS already has cut that gap down by over a second. And we've not even had a full lap yet since he got up into second place. JF1 gets through on Alcada. Alcada back down the inside at turn 9. What a move from Alcada. JF1 tries to fight it back but gets all out of shape. Alcada fighting this very hard. Jay draining the battery. Alcada once again looking up the inside line but isn't able to make his way through. JF1 up into 11th as Cam Ruddy does get through then on TTV Kian and up into 5th place. Now Mr. Smith will try and get through on the McLaren. Cam Ruddy trying to overtake Lawless Fever in the Cadillac. These lot are in a train sat behind Spadang. And as I say, this train goes down to Jarmin, who's currently in P10. Kian trying to take the position off of Mr. Smith once more. Smith goes in deep. Kian looking for the up and under. Gets the overtake enabled as well, but it's the Aston Martin with a little bit more battery, and that is going to allow Mr. Smith to gain away. Now look at Fabian Best in the background as well. The Haas car on the outside line will turn to the inside for the second part of the chicane. Just doesn't have the grip to stay wheel to wheel with the McLaren as Spadang and Lawless Fever battle away. Look at Cam Ruddy getting involved in the fight as well as towards turn 9. Spadang doesn't have the facilities to try and fight it. Cam Ruddy round the outside of Lawless Fever and up into 3rd place. The hard compound tyres working well for the V-Carb. Cam Ruddy now in 3rd and is trying to chase down Jack MS, who is chasing down HTL Llama. And we've got another safety car deployed in this race, and that's because JF1 is in the barriers. Llama and Jack both come into the pit lane. Jay has swiped off a lot of the front wing. We've seen a real lack of confidence from JF1 in this race so far. Looks like everyone coming into the pit lane believe they can take the tyres 19 laps. Jarmin stays out and takes the lead of this race. HTL Llama will emerge in 2nd then, with Jack MS in 3rd place. It's Cam Ruddy that runs in 4th, and this safety car will help a lot of people close the gaps that were ahead of them and get back into this race once more. We're on lap 10 of 29 then in this race. Jarmin is your leader. We're under the safety car after JF1 and Alcada reportedly came together. Alcada came into the pit lane to repair his front wing, as did JF1. Jarmin staying out under the safety car. Was only one other man that did that, and it was Greco Theo in 12th. Jack MS is going to be a real threat here, and I wonder if Jarmin might try and play the team game and hold Llama up so Jack MS can get through and then build a gap in the lead of this Grand Prix. I'm sure that Jack MS doesn't need it, but Jarmin may be trying to play the team game and cause some ruptures in the Constructors' Championship. Strongest team so far. Ferrari definitely look very quick, although I imagine Jack MS is going to be demoted after this Grand Prix. Aston Martin have really popped out to me. They're meant to be the slowest car. They have been running 1 and 2 in this race at some points. The Aston Martin's looking very quick. We've also got the likes of VCarb as well. I think VCarb is a very strong team with Cam Ruddy and Spadang. I'm excited to see what both of those drivers can do in the rest of this race. CB saying this isn't fun at all. CB currently in 10th place in the Cadillac. Lap 11 of 29. I imagine the safety car will be in next lap as we're waiting for JF1 and Lewis James to catch back up to the safety car. Safety car does stay out for another lap then. So we will go racing at the start of lap 13. Jarman will lead us away on the 8-lap-old medium compound tyres. I wonder how those tyres are looking for the Ferrari driver. Lama in second with Jack MS in third place. This should be a very interesting restart to this Grand Prix. The two Ferraris. I do wonder if Jarman is going to try and play some team games in this race. It wouldn't surprise me. The Constructors' Championship, it feels weird. In WRC, of course, you know, the Constructors' Championship is a big thing. But in MOR, it feels like people care a lot more about the Constructors' Championship and will really help their teammates. Safety car should be in this lap then. It is in this lap. Jarman is your leader and becomes the effective pace car here in Abu Dhabi. Ferrari, Aston, Ferrari, VCarb, Cadillac. That is your top 5. When does Jarman decide to get this race underway then? Waiting just to try and catch Lama off guard. And he's gone now then. Into the final corner we go. And Jarman gets away in the lead. Lama is trying to challenge him though. Jack MS did not have the greatest restart. We're watching from the rear wing of Jarman, looking back at HTL Lama. As Lama tries to attack the Ferrari. The Ferrari tries to attack Lama into the turn 4 hairpin with 3 abreast. And that is a big crash into the wall for Jarman and for Lama. Jack MS goes through into the lead. Cam Ruddy into second. Lama surely has got some dangerous front wing damage. You can see there is damage. The Ferrari with no front wing. A bit more wheel locking for Jarman with Spadang. And Jarman gonna fall all the way down here. Lama a bit luckier with that contact. He's running in 4th place at the moment. It's Jack MS then that is in the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Jack, though, has picked up a penalty. It's a 10-second penalty as well. And how much is that going to change the complexion of this race? Because Cam Ruddy is keeping tabs with the Ferrari driver. He's losing time. Of course, the V-Carb just a little bit slower than the Ferrari. But Jack MS has got until lap 29 to pull out a 10-second gap. He has got to pray there is not a late safety car. The gap, 1.2 seconds then, as Lewis James and JF1 do battle into the chicane. JF1 in behind the Williams, looking for a switchback, not able to get the grip that he wanted. JF1 currently in 15th place and with a 3-second time penalty as well. Looking to make that 14th, nearly goes into the back of Lewis James. Seth asking, is this a league? It most certainly is. This is indeed a league race. This is the Thursday 6 p.m. realistic performance division. And Jack MS is gaining away from Cam. He's going to need a lot more than that if he is to win this race with that 10-second penalty. Cam Ruddy in second place. Mr. Smith in third, with HTL Llama running in fourth, albeit with that damaged front wing. Llama trying to gain some time on his teammate Mr. Smith, who does go deep. Whether that was by design or not, I do not know. It doesn't look like it. HTL Llama pulls to the inside line of Mr. Smith and does take the podium place back again. As there in the background, Spadang trying to attack Kian is not able to get through. Seth saying, how do you even join a league? I've never tried. To basically give you the short answer, let's say you were going to join MOR. Obviously, that's where we're racing today. You would click our TikTok profile. You would go to the Discord link in our bio and join our Discord. You let us know your availabilities for what days you want to race full time. Obviously, there is one race a week. So let's say you're available Wednesday, 6 p.m. There will be a race once a week at Wednesday, 6 p.m. You will sign yourself up. You will be assigned a full-time seat, which will be the team that you drive for, whether that is, you know, Ferrari, McLaren, V-Carb, whatever it is. And then all that happens to get in the lobby is you add the lobby host on EA. So let's say, for me, example, you would add Jack Patient Comms on EA. And then when the lobby is open, we'll invite you to the session. And it is as simple as that. Then you go racing. And you enjoy the action. HTL Llama down the inside on Cam Ruddy. Cam not putting up too much defense to that. Doesn't have as much battery as Llama either. So Llama is going to gain away. I wonder if Mr. Smith might be gaining on Cam Ruddy. Decides to stop using his battery. Badang once again trying to challenge Kian. This time the challenge comes off a little bit better. Kian is still right in there with Spadang though. Now wheel to wheel as we go down the straight. Both of them running out of battery towards turn 9. Spadang forced to the outside line. Kian doing a very good job of defending 7th place. Cam Ruddy now down to 3rd. Is trying to get back on tabs with Llama and stay ahead of Mr. Smith. They've got Lawless Fever and Fabian Best in that fight as well. As give me 2 moments, I'm just going to have to sort the dog out because she's going to go mental. Someone has just arrived home. I do apologize. This is very unprofessional of me. I will be as quick as I can. Right, I believe we are back. The dog you probably will hear in the background at some point. So I do apologise if she starts going a little bit mental. The battling still ensuing here in MOR Esports. This is the first race, the season opener in the Thursday 6 p.m. realistic division. There is the dog going mental, excuse me. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for that interruption. We're on lap 18 of 29 of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It is Jack MS that leads this race by 6 seconds. Currently on course to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He is gaining enough time with that penalty to be able to win. Seth saying, say if I did join a league, do you have to race every day time your race is on? It's not every day. It's a weekly event. So let's say, again, you were to sign up for the Wednesday 6 p.m. division. You would race once a week, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. You are required to come and compete in all the races and do all of the races. But you aren't racing, let's say, Wednesday every day. It's just Wednesday 6 p.m. every week, per se. JF1 back into the pit lane. And is really struggling in this Grand Prix. Jack MS not gaining the time I thought he would. I'm not sure if he had a moment. That gap did drop between him and HTL Llama. Yeah, exactly, Seth. Yeah, so if you've got a full-time seat, you are meant to, well, you are expected to, let's say, turn up to every week's event. If you're a reserve driver, then no, you just kind of let us know when your availability is. And if there is a reserve seat available, then we will get you in. But if you are full-time, you are expected, okay, you're full-time, that's a commitment to all of the races. As that was someone going very deep there, and that was Mr. Smith, who has had a bit of contact and has gone round, is going to fall down to 8th place in this race. I thought Cam Ruddy may have been the driver that went very wide. Lewis F1 saying, I know I'm in this race, but can I do the 8 p.m.? I believe the 8 p.m. is full, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, don't get me wrong. But I think the 8 p.m. is full. The best person to ask about that is Blake. Because I believe Blake is doing all the attendance and all that sort of thing for those races. The virtual safety car is now deployed and Jarmin is out of the race. And that was a crash into the pit wall, it looked like, for Jarmin. Jack MS rounds the final corner. Begin lap 20 of 29 of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. 9 laps to go in this event. As you can see, 10-second penalty for Jack MS as we go back to green flag racing then. Llama seemed to have got a pretty good virtual safety car restart. Cam Ruddy in 3rd place. Cam Ruddy does have damage. Cam must have hit Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith into the pit lane. Cam Ruddy must have gone into the back of Mr. Smith. Because that is sizable damage as well. That is not just a little bit of front wing damage. I'm very surprised that Cam Ruddy stayed out under the virtual safety car and did not elect to come into the pit lane. Because he has still got the likes of Lawless Fever, Fabian Best, and soon to be Spadang on the rear of him as well. Is Cam Ruddy maybe just thinking, you know what? I'll stay up. Stay out, sorry. Do a hold-up job for my teammate. And try and allow him to get through into the podium positions. Everyone in the top 9 is on the same tyres as well. The V-Carb is probably the best car. There is contact going into the pit lane. Lawless Fever and Cam Ruddy. Lawless Fever forced to stay out because of that contact. Cam will have lost a bit more time trying to come into the pit lane. They do get that front wing changed. And Cam Ruddy, I expect, will be coming out in about 8th, maybe 9th place here. Greco Theo right on the back of Fade. Greco on the soft compound tyres. As Cam Ruddy ducks underneath the track, he's going to come out in 11th place. Behind Mr. Smith, is he? No, he is not. Mr. Smith is going to come out behind Cam Ruddy. Cam onto 3-lap-old mediums. Mr. Smith onto the hards. The gap out in front then. 8.3 seconds between Llama and Jack MS. You do have to remember as well, Llama has been carrying damage for a fair amount of this race in a realistic Aston Martin too. Llama doing a very, very good job to be running, well, technically right now in the lead of this race with Jack MS's 10-second penalty. But it does look like Jack has got the pace to pull out that 10-second gap on the cars behind. And ultimately go on to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I would not be surprised if Jack is moved out of the Ferrari after this race, especially after his qualifying performance was incredibly, incredibly dominant. But just because he will be moved doesn't really mean much. He will lose his Constructors' Championship points that he will score for Ferrari. But in terms of the Drivers' Championship, he will be the Drivers' Championship leader. And could this one race where he drove in a Ferrari potentially take him to a first World Championship? You never know in league racing. This could be the moment that would decide it. Jack MS, 9.4 seconds now ahead of Llama. Make that 9.5, make that 9.6. As we've got yellow flags. That is for Greco Theo, I believe. I do wonder if there's a glitch with the yellow flags on this game. Because there is quite often situations where the yellow flags will come out and then immediately disappear and there's nothing that happened. As Jack MS then is 10 seconds ahead of HTL Llama. There's not really much that Llama could do about it. He's giving everything to try and fight and keep that gap under 10 seconds. But unfortunately for him, it's not going to work that way today. And Jack MS just has 6 laps now to go to the end of this Grand Prix and take a maiden victory in MOR. Fabian Best running in third is trying to keep Spadang behind and keep that podium position. Spadang looking very, very quick, it must be said, and is going to look to try and make the move on the Haas car. Is gaining on the rear end of the American outfit. Towards the inside of turn 9, he's going to go down the inside. But it's the more conventional racing line for the Haas. But a little bit of contact between them. And that puts Spadang wheel to wheel with the Haas car into the Titan technical sector. I don't think Spadang's going to be able to make a move here. But this is a very good fight that these two are putting on for us today. HTL Llama running in second TTV Kian, I must say, a big shout out to Kian as well. Running 6th place at the moment. Doing a very good job in that McLaren. He's got CB behind him. He's stuck in a bit of a Cadillac sandwich at the moment. Kian doing a brilliant job in 6th. You can see his teammate down in 12th. It is not just the car. Kian doing very, very well as Spadang does get through then on Fabian Best and has got more battery to defend this to turn 9 as well. Gets the better exit too. And Spadang soaring off into the distance then. And it does look like that is podium secured for the V-Carb driver. But crazier things have happened in Formula 1. Mr. Smith and Cam Ruddy still fighting away. Greco Theo also involved in that fight as well. This is the closest battle we have got on track. 5-lap-old soft compound tyres for Greco Theo. It doesn't look like Cam Ruddy's really got the time to gain on CB. 7.1 seconds. We're on lap 25 of 29. Is Greco quick enough to try and get in this fight with Mr. Smith and Cam Ruddy? Mr. Smith is getting the overtake boost from the V-Carb man towards turn 1. Not close enough to make a move down the inside. We'll now make our way through the first sector. And he is gaining on the V-Carb, but it doesn't look like enough. Unless he is planning to go for a move. It doesn't seem like it. Pulls towards the inside line, maybe just to try and spook Cam a bit. Cam not going to fall for that, as he pulls right over to the inside line to stop the slipstream. Mr. Smith now ducks into it and is gaining on Cam Ruddy, looking towards the outside line. Can Mr. Smith get round the outside? He cannot. Cam goes in a little bit deeper. That's going to allow Mr. Smith, or it would have allowed him to get a better exit had he not had an oversteer moment. But now Mr. Smith is looking to try and blast through with the battery round the outside at turn 9. Hard tyres versus medium tyres. What's going to win out this fight? It's the more conventional line for Mr. Smith, who will now have the inside line and does take 8th place away from Cam Ruddy. We'll get the penalty screen back up for you as well. Great move by Mr. Smith to get into 8th place. There's Jack MS on lap 26 then. Cruising out in front at the moment. HTL Llama 15 seconds back from the Ferrari. It's then Spadang in 3rd place with Fabian Best in 4th. Cam Ruddy still on the back of Mr. Smith, trying, fighting to get that 8th place back again. But running out of battery is the V-Carb, and that is going to allow the Aston to fly a lot clearer. We're on lap 27 then of 29. Really in the dying embers of this Grand Prix now. Closest battle on track is Cam Ruddy versus Mr. Smith in the battle for 8th place. Out in front, Jack MS. It may be a misplaced car placement, shall we say. He probably shouldn't be in the Ferrari. But at the end of the day, he has taken the opportunity and absolutely ran with it. Lawless Fever is now gaining on Fabian Best. The only issue for the Cadillac driver is that he's got a 3-second penalty. And there really isn't much time at all to try and gain. Lawless Fever in 5th place at the moment. Mr. Smith and Cam Roddy still fighting away. Mr. Smith now right behind CB. I did not expect these two to be fighting away. I thought CB would have this under control, but Mr. Smith absolutely flying round the outside line. And Mr. Smith does get into 7th place then. So what about Cam Roddy? Can Cam try and get ahead of CB? CB's going to get the overtake boost from Mr. Smith. And that's going to help him try and glide away as Lawless Fever does get through on Fabian Best into turn 1. Albeit with that 3-second penalty, he's only got 2 laps to try and run away. We are on the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. Fabian Best dropping off the back of Lawless Fever. Cam Roddy is now right behind CB then. And Cam Roddy looking to salvage 8th place from this race. Out in front, Jack MS begins the final lap of this race. And as I said a few laps ago, some people may just say, oh, well, he shouldn't be in a Ferrari. He probably shouldn't have won the race. But yes, he may have been put in a car he was too quick for. He has absolutely leapt at the opportunity. Has driven the car to its limit. He's 21 seconds ahead of HTL Lama. Spadang has now left the session, and that is surely going to allow Lawless Fever to take a podium place. Spadang has disconnected on the final lap. For Jack MS though, he'll take the opportunity with open arms. Wouldn't have been expecting this, I don't imagine, coming into the race, but there's a lot of red shirts in the grandstands here at Abu Dhabi. There is that infamous Ferrari theme park closely nearby the Abu Dhabi circuit, and I'm sure there'll be some sort of party going on there tonight with Jack MS as your host, because the Ferrari man is going to win this Grand Prix in dominant fashion. Abu Dhabi Open in the season, it feels a little bit backwards, but for Jack MS, it will feel absolutely perfect, and he'll want to repeat and repeat all day long as the fireworks go off for Jack MS, who wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. HTL Lama will come home in 2nd place. Spadang, I think, is going to make it home in 3rd, even though he disconnected, because Lawless has got that 3-second penalty. So it will still be Spadang that comes home for 3rd place, and that is very good. We wouldn't have liked to have him lose the podium on the final lap. Lawless comes home for 4th. It's Mr. Smith that salvages 5th place. TTV Kian in 6th. Cam Ruddy did get ahead of CB and up into 7th place. It will be Fabian Best that comes home in 9th, with Greco Theo in 10th place. O'Fade coming home in 11th, with Lewis James in 12th. Alcada will finish in 13th, with Leon in 14th place. And JF1 in 15th and last. We lost Jarmin, Error and Jack Plays in that race. Now, I've commentated quite a few season openers in my time, and that most certainly was a very entertaining one. We just await the final drivers across the line then, those being Alcada and JF1. Alcada round the final corner, finishes this race off. And it's the Scuderia, the prancing horse on top, under the lights. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me here tonight for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. A great season opener it was, and it makes me really look forward to the future in this division. My name has been Jack. I've been your commentator. A pleasure to be with you this evening. If you are new, make sure you do follow down below, as we will be live in about half an hour for the 8 PM division. Hopefully, we'll see you there. Until we see you, take care. And as always, ta-da.